galactic command attention. Now that anyone stays in your existence, may you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of kindness.
We understand that viewers in some parts of the region are receiving a breakthrough in sound. We're sorry about this, and we're doing our best to rectify the fault.
40 years ago, a strange incident took place on an English television station. November 26, 1977 was the same as any other day for the UK's Southern Television Network. At first came the news bulletin. However, the TV picture wobbled slightly, and the sound of the reporter faded behind a mysterious, distorted voice.
This is the voice of Kumar, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the skies. We speak to you now to say the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world, so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in great awakening as the planet passes into the new age of Aquarius.
The engineers tried to get back control of the station. You can see this battle on the screen. Behind Villon's message, the visuals on the TV continued as normal. Finally, the network regained control, and the voice was gone. The Vrillon message is a long one, but undeniably one of peaceful intent, calling for the removal of all weapons of evil and promising that those who learn to live in peace will pass to higher realms of spiritual evolution. Vrillon mentions the New Age, and talks about the upcoming Age of Aquarius. This perhaps shows a little too much humanity and reveals some of the ideology of those responsible. If you're familiar with hippie culture or astrology, this might sound familiar. In the late 60s, a bunch of spiritual systems popped up predicting the new age of humanity, an age of enlightenment, peace, love and understanding. This will happen when we enter the Age of Aquarius. To some astrologers, Earth time is measured along the zodiac. There are 12 astrological ages corresponding to the 12 zodiac signs in Western astrology. Each time a new astrological age comes around, a great new development in society, culture and politics will take place. There are some complex and pretty dubious maths here, so I won't get into it, but each astrological age is about 2,160 years. The thing is, no one can quite agree on when this astrological movement will happen. According to Vrillon, 1977 was on the cusp of the upcoming Age of Aquarius. Hippies and New Age was big in the late 60s and died out pretty soon after. Whoever was behind it, even if it was aliens, they were 10 years late to the party. But why aliens? What do they have to do with the New Age movement and hippies? Who's Vrillon? And what's the Ashtar Galactic Command? You may have heard of the Roswell incident. In mid-1947, a United States Air Force's balloon crashed at a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. Eyewitnesses claimed to have seen a flying saucer, a UFO, that the US government were hiding from the public. UFOs and aliens became the next big thing. Some even believed to be abducted by aliens. Some even claimed to communicate with them. Enter George Van Tassel. In 1952, he claimed to receive messages via telepathic communication from an extraterrestrial and interdimensional being called Ashtar.
And how did you go into this ship?
I walked with him to a spot underneath it, and an anti-gravity beam took me up through a hole in the bottom of it.
You're telling me at 2 o'clock in the morning in Giant Rock Airport, you walked underneath this hovering ship, and whammo, you went up inside.
You didn't go whammo, you went just about as slow as a local elevator run.
And when you got off the anti-gravity elevator, what did it look like?
I was inside of a ship about 18 feet in diameter and roughly 10 feet high to the domed ceiling, and there were 3 men on the ship, besides the one that had got off and invited me aboard.
You keep calling them men. What do you mean, men?
Well,
Little green men?
they were about 5'6". They came about to my eyebrows, and they could have walked in our clothes down any of our streets, and we wouldn't have paid any attention to them.
What color were these people?
They looked like they were white people with a good, healthy tan.
Did they give you any indication of how old they were, or what they ate, or where they came from at all?
After we got off the ship, the man who invited me aboard, who didn't look a day over 28 years of age, told me that he was over 700 years of age in our time.
Oh, come off it, George.
That's right.
He gained some followers and they set up the first UFO religion, the Ministry of Universal Wisdom. There are so many UFO religions, and it's a crazy rabbit hole to go down. You might know Scientology, or Raelianism, or Heaven's Gate. But Van Tassel's Ministry of Universal Wisdom was the first alien cult. It was claimed on July 18, 1952 that Ashtar entered the solar system as Commander-in-Chief of the Ashtar Galactic Command to warn humanity of the dangers of detonating the hydrogen bomb.
But why should these people come down, from outer space? Why don't they land in the White House or in Kremlin Square in Moscow and say, hey, listen to us, we can tell you a few things. We're 700 years old. We can travel through space. We're not concerned with time differentials.
Well, probably they're not concerned with giving us too much of their information because we'd only use it in our battle to destroy each other here.
Did these 4 men tell you that themselves?
No, they didn't tell me that, but this is a reasonable assumption on our part that the world's divided in 2 camps, each capable of eliminating the whole civilization. And if we were to go to another planet and observe this condition, we would certainly be a little cautious about who we talk to or what we reveal.
So going back to Vrillon's message, it all seems very familiar. Vrillon, a representative of the Ashtar Command, is kindly warning us to destroy our harmful weapons and we can ascend to spiritual enlightenment. Vrillon's message seems to be a fusion of UFO spirituality and New Age hippie beliefs. This is by no means a new thing. Both ideas are related to cosmology and space, with universal truths presumably applicable to aliens. To my mind, the whole thing probably isn't aliens. It's most likely a hoax. Mostly because this alien voice spoke with an English accent, and the fact that the aliens only managed to hijack a local TV station in rural South England make it more likely the source was a human, possibly a broadcast student, or maybe an outdated spiritualist pulling a hoax. Unlike so many of the broadcast interruptions which came after, mostly in the USA, there's nothing prankish or funny about the Vrillon interruption. There's no punchline or swearing or obscenity or explicit protest. No one ever came forward and claimed responsibility for this episode. Whatever it was, the Southern Interruption goes unexplained.